First, I am pleased to introduce and welcome to the stage Thorsten, our site lead from CDL-Berlin and managing director at the Institute for Deep Tech at ESMT Berlin. Welcome, Thorsten.
Hello, everybody. My name is Thorsten Lambertus. I'm the site leader of CDL-Berlin, and this site is operated by the European School for Management and Technology in Berlin, the leading business school in Germany. So through our health stream, these startups get access to one of the most advanced healthcare systems around the globe, to great clinics, corporates, and a lot of medical and scientific expertise. The startup I brought with me today has developed a voice-based machine learning software to detect the decompensated heart failure. So they have shown over the 8 months an amazing progress. They succeeded in fundraising, and they deserve to be on stage here today. So join me in welcoming Oliver Weiss from Noah Labs.
Good morning, Toronto. All right, let's check this out. I want to start with a little story. This is me and my grandma. I was 6 years old back then. I always loved spending time with her because she was a fantastic human being and she had cable TV. One day, I came back from vacation with my parents. I called her up because I wanted to go see her the next day. As I get on the phone with her, I realize her voice sounded different. I didn't know back then what was going on, but the next day she was hospitalized with what doctors refer to as decompensated heart failure. What is heart failure? Heart failure is not the same as cardiac arrest, but it's a structural weakening of the heart muscle. Eventually leads to a weakened heart muscle. And because of that, heart failure is the #1 reason globally why people are admitted to hospital. And that also leads to the fact that it's the costliest disease in the world, with costs north of $350 billion annually, most of which are attributable to hospitalizations. So the question is, how can we reduce heart failure-related hospitalizations? Let's take a brief look from the perspective of a GP or cardiologist at this. You want to keep your patient on the very left, out of hospital. Over the course of about 30 days, they deteriorate and they accumulate excess fluid because of the weakened heart. The circulatory system doesn't work anymore as it should. So you might have seen elderly people with swollen lower legs wearing compression stockings. It's a typical sign of a weakened heart. How do we detect this? Standard of care is looking at symptoms. Are they experiencing shortness of breath, excessive sweating, that kind of stuff? And it's looking at weight. A sudden rise in weight might indicate there's a lot of fluid. Well, these indicators are very rough, they're imprecise, and they're very late. That's why we have this high number of hospitalizations. Now, this fluid assembly, it doesn't only happen in the legs, it also happens in the lungs. That's what's called pulmonary edema, and it happens in the vocal tract around the vocal folds. And that's what changes the sound of voice. Now, what we did, we have another existing product on the market, so already access to patients and physicians. So we started building an AI model, a deep learning model that computes the biomechanics of the human voice. So it basically breaks down the voice into more than 200 features, and it finds a very specific pattern in there, a pattern that tells us where the patient is on this graph. Now, this is, of course, a medical intervention or a medical diagnosis, so we need to undergo clinical evidence. We need to show that it works. So as part of CDL-Berlin, we were supported by some fantastic people who helped us get started a pilot study at Mayo Clinic and also at Charité Berlin with 60 patients. And we achieved an F1 score, so a combination of both sensitivity and specificity, north of 90% in discriminating between stable and decompensated heart failure. Based on that evidence, we managed to close an investment round of around 5 million euros, led by health tech investor Nina Capital and joined by the European Union. And with this, what we want to accomplish is bring the technology to market as a medical device to be used by patients and physicians that are diagnosed with heart failure. So this means going for FDA and MDR clearance in the EU. Heart failure is only one of the elements where voice analysis works. Already today, we know that narrowing coronary arteries that lead to heart attacks. We know that rhythm disorders, like atrial fibrillation, and we even know since last year that diabetes, type 2 diabetes, might be detected from voice. So this is what we're working on in the long run. We want to build a platform with voice-based biomarkers for the cardiometabolic space. I'm here today looking for clinical partners, intros to clinics such as Cleveland, the Montreal Heart Institute. And of course, even though we just closed an investment round, you're never not fundraising, so looking for interest to fantastic investors. Come join Marcus, Leo, and myself on this exciting journey that might have allowed my grandma to live a few more years. Thank you very much.